What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new video. Look, can you see my breath right now? It is so cold here in Texas. It's not even cold. It's actually certified chilly willy. Got the earmuffs on. Taylor says I look kind of goofy in these. I think I look stylish. What do you think? I know some people are like, 30, how cold is it, Max? Like, oh, it's like 33 degrees. You think that's cold? I go swimming in 33 degrees, okay? I go running naked around the neighborhood in 33 degrees, okay? Try coming where I live, bro, okay? It's negative 100 all the time. I'm miserable, and I'm typing this out. My hands are literally frozen. It's really cold here, okay? Really cold. And because the temperature is so lame, I thought I'd switch it up, and today we are going to do a little sit-down Q&A. Some people love them, some people hate them, but it gives me a little creative break, right? So I can come back strong and get the sickest of the angles, dude, to keep the content fresh. And we haven't answered a lot of questions in a while, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Sit back, relax. Let's get a little check-in with Mr. Dude. Hey, dude, come here. How are you doing, man? How's the doll star? She's good. Yep. We did make this rule that whenever we feed the dogs, dude always eats first. Not literally eats first, but like we put dude's food down first. Because you're the king of the castle. You're the king of the household. You like her? I like her. Taylor likes her. She's sticking around. We gotta wait for her final parvo shot so she can go and walk. So for now, she's just pooping on the couch at the house. All right, enjoy this Q&A. Give it a thumbs up button, and I'll see you on our normal vlogs next week, dude. Peace!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's do this thing. I want to start this off with some business questions. I want to briefly go over some of the sour strips things that people ask, because I get this nonstop, and while I do love milking this acquisition from Hershey's as much as I can on YouTube to get the most amount of views and clicks, I'm kind of done after this point. So this will be the last time I kind of like use it in a title or whatnot. But I have gotten asked hundreds of times about how much I sold the company for. So this question: why are you not sharing the sale price of sour strips? Is that your call or Hershey's? I actually requested from Hershey's to not disclose. I don't know if they actually normally disclose acquisitions, but I preferred to have it undisclosed for privacy reasons, right? And I understand when someone sells a company, especially someone like your boy, this potato, who's like super transparent about everything. It's like, why didn't you share the exact financial details of this, Max? I would be curious as well. But like, just know that it was a lot of money. I mean, it was a life-changing amount of money. But at the end of the day, like I'm still like your boy, right? I'm still your boy. I'm still the guy, right? Whether it was for $1 million, $10 million, $50 million, $100 million, $70 billion, we're still doing the dang thing, right? We're still making YouTube videos. So, I choose not to disclose it. I think at some point, I'm sure the world will maybe figure it out or something. But yeah, I just kind of choose to keep that private. I don't think it really adds any value besides just know that it was, we're doing well and we're feeling really blessed. And yeah, that's kind of the last thing I want to say about it. I don't know how to dance around the question, but it is not something that I'll probably ever it's not something that I'll ever tell the exact dollar amount publicly. So I know that it's really disappointing. I know it's really frustrating, but we just got to let it go. And you can just look as my life evolves, and you can maybe just, I don't know, just speculate, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But no, it was more than $1. Okay, here we go. I'm going to answer a couple questions about this whole kind of thing. After you saw the dollar bills in your bank after the acquisition, what was your first thought? Well, Honestly, so like, here's how it happens, right? You go through the due diligence process. So the company reaches out and they're like, hey, we want to buy your company, right? And then you negotiate, you have lawyers and accountants and bankers and all this stuff. Like, you have everyone involved and everyone's negotiating on each side and trying to get the most optimal deal for each party while not maybe taking advantage of the other party. And, you finally come to an agreement. Everyone does the due diligence. They're digging into the company. They're digging into the records to find out if what you're telling them is actually accurate, if the company's, worth what, you're saying that you want for the company. And after all said and done, it comes to a close, right? You go through your final, closing call, right? So all the accountants, everyone from both parties gets on a call and basically they're like, all right, we got everything we need. We're good. All right, we got everything we need. We're good. Send the wire. And it just transfers like in an hour. And it was wild. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, it was kind of like, I can't even remember like the thing that I don't even know where I was at the moment. This is probably, I should remember this. But it's like the money hits and you're like, holy crap, it's done. Wow, I did it. And throughout the entire like acquisition and selling process, there was a lot of points where not like I didn't think it was going to happen, but I've kind of been always like maybe like a pessimistic type of person in my life, unfortunately, where I'm like, are you ever someone that's like, when something bad happens or something negative happens, you're like, of course that happened to me. Like, of course it did. Of course it did. Right? Of course this didn't work out. That's kind of like how I felt, right? I knew the company was strong. I knew it was a great brand. I knew it would fit really well with Hershey. I was excited for Hershey to be the partner to acquire. I think it made the most sense to add to their portfolio. And but I was kind of like, I bet something happens and this deal falls through, and I'll have gone through this entire due diligence process and lost so much sleep and been stressed out for months and months while I was planning my wedding, which is the most important day of my life, with my beautiful bride. And I was doing all of this, which was like pulling my mind away. So I felt really selfish, but it was just like this very interesting time. And I just thought something would happen where it would fall through and it would all been kind of like a waste of time for everyone involved. But when it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like it happened. But then you just kind of go on with the rest of your day, right? I immediately thought of like what the future was. I was like, okay, now what am I going to do with this money, right? How do I help the people around me? First of all, how do I help the people that, help get the company to where it is today, that stuck with me since day one? How do I give back to everyone? And then how do I help my family, my friends? How do I do cool things? And that's like the first thing that goes. It wasn't like, how do I buy a Bugatti? So yeah, I mean, not much. I went and just got probably, Mexican food later that night. Okay, now that you've had time to process, how do you feel about selling sour strips? I feel good. I feel like, it's impossible to know the unknown, right? Because, when I sold sour strips, when I announced it, I was actually very unsure of what the reaction would be, because I've seen companies sell and everyone's like, boo, tomato, boo, you sell out, boo, boo, boo. But everyone was like, what? Max, let's go, baby. You crushed it. You did it. You're go, Max. This is great. Congratulations. And I was like, oh my gosh, they like me. They really like me. And it felt really good to have a positive reaction, right? Because it's a life-changing decision. It's a big decision, right? To take this company that, I've been building for 5 years, that I'm super passionate about, and to kind of hand it off to a company because I want the future of sour strips to be almost like locked in. And, I did get I have gotten a lot of like feedback of like, most of it was praise. Most of it was like congrats, but a lot of it was like, oh my God, you're an idiot. I can't believe you sold it. Or like, oh, you're dumb. If you sold all of it, you should have kept some of it and I would have done this. And I'm kind of like, damned if you do. It's like, when the people who are negatively talking about it, I'm like, when you start your candy brand and you have one of the largest candy companies reach out to you, you can do what you want, right? You can negotiate how you'd like. You can say no. I thought it was the best decision for the company, for the future of the company, and for the future of my world that I'm in, right? I am about to go into the next chapter of my life with Taylor, and we want to, try to start having a family. And I've talked about, even before the acquisition, about how present I want to be with that family, with Taylor, and I don't want to be thinking about work and stress so much about work. So I feel like it was the right decision. I know you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what the future could have hold if you did keep it on. But I know that it was the right decision for me at the time, and I feel really good, and I think it's in great hands. And again, if you're unaware, I'm still running the ship. Everyone who works at Sour Strips is still working at Sour Strips. People asked, is Mona still working there? Yep, she works remote from Hawaii. Aloha, if you're watching this. And it's a good thing all around. And I know some people, because you don't know all the details. So because you can't know all the details, you can just speculate about things. And just know I'm really happy. I really am. And I'm excited to continue to see the brand grow and grow and grow with the power of Hershey's into something that, I could only dream. So it's crazy. I like to think that we did it. We freaking did it. Okay. Last question about this whole acquisition thing is, what was the most important lesson you learned from starting Sour Strips? And that will be, honestly, that I could do something kind of great, because like I mentioned, how I always would be pessimistic about oh, of course this bad thing happened to me. I also would look around at, I always thought really successful outcomes and really successful wins and success stories, right? I would see people just crushing it in business, just crushing it. And I almost thought that a certain level of success was reserved for other people and not for me, right? I was I'm doing really well, but I'll never hit that level of success. Not me, right? I'm too goofy. I'm too immature. I talk about dumb things. I'm not doing red light therapy every single day. I'm not cold plunging every single day. I'm not, going to masterminds. So, that can't happen to me, right? And when something life-changing like this, generational life-changing stuff, right? For myself, my family, my kids' kids, all are going to benefit from this, thing that I built with my team, right? I didn't build it. I had the idea for it, but, I took the initiative, and then I got a great group of people, and, we all collectively did something great. And it's just cool to take something that I was super passionate about and turn it into a reality. And I proved to myself that I could do something great. And it's really just a cool feeling. It really is a cool feeling. And I hope, and I say this a lot, and I feel like people don't really take it seriously, but I always say, if I can do this, anything is literally possible, right? I know you hear that a lot, but go back 10 years on my YouTube channel, right? I've shown you every single thing that I've done. I've shown you these big decisions that I've done that have gotten me here, right? And now I know that, there was a lot of factors that played into luck and success, but you can't look at someone else's life and be oh, because this happened, they're successful and that can never happen to me, right? I don't want you to have the same negative mindset like I do. I want you to be if Max Tuning, if this potato can, achieve this level of success, I can crush his level of success. And I want everyone to do that. So the most important thing I learned is that I can do great things. And I also don't think that Sour Strips will be, this is a big thing, but I don't think Sour Strips in business, it's not the last thing I'll ever do. I don't know what the future holds, but Sour Strips was the greatest business decision and venture that I've ever done. But I also would like to believe that it's not going to be the last one, or maybe even the biggest one. So who knows, baby? All right, so I hope that answered a lot of the business questions. I'll see you guys next week. No, we're gonna keep this going, but now we're done with kind of the sour strip stuff. I hope that answered it. That was the last kind of. I mean, I'm gonna keep talking about sour strips in depth, but like as far as the acquisition goes, I've touched on everything that I want to talk about, that I can talk about, and yeah, from here on out, you can speculate as to what you would have done, what I should have done. You know, what the acquisition was for, but let's just move on. Let's have a good time in this channel, right? Let's keep the entertainment going. Okay, when are you getting the new Jeep? Well, I might actually be able to post a video in a week with it because I think it's on a truck to the dealership right now. Now, if you just sold your candy company, what car would you get, right? Lamborghini, Bugatti, Ferrari, Porsche GT3 RS, McLaren, no, you get a Jeep Wagoneer S. That's what I am getting, and I'm super stoked about it. It is an all-electric Jeep, and I'm not going it because I really want electric. I prefer gasolina, but it just happens that is what Jeep, the direction they're going. I really like Jeep for a lot of reasons, and yeah, the Wagoneer S is like a 0 to 60 in 3.4. They don't make the SRT, the Trackhawk right now, so that's the new bad boy, and it comes, I think, this week. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna get black interior or red interior, but I will post a video as soon as I get it. I'm super stoked, and yeah, I love Jeeps. I love Jeeps so much. And I'm not gonna say that I'll only own Jeeps forever, but I will absolutely always have a Jeep or two. And you can count on that. You can take that to the bank. Call me out on it. Actually, yeah, you'll never call me out on it because I will never not have a Jeep, ever. Period. Forever. So getting the new Jeep real soon. Jeep Wagoneer S, white exterior. Don't know what interior I'm getting. When are you going to start the Mexican restaurant? So if you don't know, I mentioned a while ago that I would like to open a Tex-Mex Mexican restaurant. And I always said, like, you know, when I have the income to be able to do it in case it fails, because I know restaurant business and food business is absolutely not easy. But then again, so is starting a candy company. That ain't easy. So I have the ability to start that dream right now, but I'm still a little bit like, I feel like that might be setting money on fire. But not to say I'm not doing it, but I'm toying with the idea. So what I want to do is create this Tex-Mex restaurant that takes all the things that I love and hate about a lot of different Tex-Mex and makes it into one sick restaurant. Let me give you some of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the playbook so you guys can start the Mexican restaurant before I do. And if you see anyone with all these features, you'll know that they watched this video and they stole my idea. I mean, a lot of people steal my ideas, don't they? Okay, anyway, here we go. First, when you go into the restaurant, when you have to wait, right? Oh, sorry, our restaurant's so popular, you gotta wait for your table. Guess what you get? If you're of age, okay, no fake IDs, you get a little shooter of a margarita, frozen or on the rocks. I was gonna have only frozen in the restaurant and not even have ice in the restaurant because I said you have to be frozen. But we're gonna allow both. But you get a little shooter while you're waiting. Oh no, you have to wait for your table. That's fine. Have a little free margarita. Okay, get you a little saucy. And that's a business tactic because then it might entice them to buy more stuff later. I don't know. Is that deceiving? I thought it was a cool thing. There's a restaurant we go to called Joey Uptown, and they give you a glass of champagne while you're waiting. And I was like, wow, this is a genius idea. I would prefer to wait for my table so I get this free glass of champagne. But you're gonna get a little shooter of margarita. That's gonna be the first thing. Second thing, don't you hate when you, here's how every single Mexican restaurant goes. They bring you chips and salsa as soon as you sit down, and then they take your order. And I would bet that 99% of the time, people are at least going to order a water. So at my Mexican restaurant, they are going to bring the chips and the salsa and water at the same time, right when you sit down. You don't want the water? Tell me, I'll take the water away, but you're gonna get the water with the chips and the salsa, because when I get the chips and the salsa, I'm like eating the chips and the salsa, and if it's too spicy, I'm like, what if I choke? Do I drink? I go through this in my head. I'm like, would I drink the salsa if I was choking? Would I go to the table next to me and just grab someone's drink? Like, what am I supposed to do if it's muy picante, right? So what simple things, right? But no one's doing it, okay? The next thing I would do is you get regular chips, but you also get hint of lime chips. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 2 options for tortilla chips, regular and hint of lime, because they're delicious. Those are just 3 of the 17-part plan that I have for the Tex-Mex restaurant that I hopefully will open one day. And it's gonna be the sickest of sick vibes, but you don't want it to be too cool of vibes because you don't want people with like families and kids to come, but you also want to find that balance so it doesn't kind of turn into like a cheesy type of like place where it's just chaotic. You want it like, I want to be able to go there for not to eat, but just to go to the bar to have like a cool cocktail before you go out for the night, right? So it's going to be vibey. It's going to be sick. It's also going to probably lose a lot of money. So who knows if we're actually going to do it, but I have registered the domain name for the name of the restaurant because I have the name and I'm not telling you that, but I choked myself. I choked. What if I don't have any water? What if I was eating chips and salsa right now? Yeah, it's going to be sick if we ever do it. Maybe, potentially, definitely. With Sour Strips selling, any thoughts of relaunching ever forward? This is another question that I got a lot. I'm wearing Ever Forward, one of the OG shirts. I'm wearing the joggers. I pretty much wear the joggers every single day because I really think that they're just the best. When I shut down Sour Strips at the beginning of last year, when I shut down Ever Forward to focus on Sour Strips, it's because when Sour Strips started taking off, Ever Forward became this kind of like backseat business that I would just kind of get to when I had time. I didn't put the same love and affection into it that I did when it was my main priority, because Sour Strips was just, it made the most sense to put the most focus in the thing that's like producing the most money. And I also like enjoyed candy more than clothing. And I don't know. I think the clothing landscape has really changed. If you talk to really anyone, Christian, Shawley, the Young LA guys, Heidi at Buff Bunny, I mean, anyone who makes clothing is a real biatch. Okay, it's just, not only is it's so capital intensive, you have to plan so far ahead and order stuff that you don't even know if people are going to like, and before you can even launch the things that you don't even know if people are going to buy or like, of like the color, the style, whatever, you have no idea. You can have a gauge. You have to order like the next launch, right, already, and you don't even know if people are going to like that. So it's like, it's this cat and mouse game of always like, playing catch up with yourself. And then you have all this inventory of sizes that don't sell. And it is a real tough business. And now it's so much easier. Like the barrier to entry is substantially easier. Like back in my day, I had to like learn about how to do manufacturing and reach out to manufacturers and I was measuring stuff out in my bedroom. Like you saw this, right? I was doing all this work, and now, and maybe there was back then, I just didn't know, but like now, if anyone's going to start a clothing company, I would say go to one of the million agencies that does all of that stuff for you, and they essentially just present you with options and you say yes or no and tweak little stuff, but they do all the measuring, talking with the manufacturer, and they take a little cut, but it's way better. Like I would way prefer, like I would recommend that people go through like a middleman agency that will do all of the like back end for you, and you're still like making the decisions. But the barrier to entry, it's easier, which means it's like oversaturated because everyone has a clothing company. So it's a really tough business. But I have toyed around with the idea of, when we launched all the backpacks and the duffel and like the travel line, I didn't expect that to like have the success that it did, because I mean, they're amazing pieces. Like when I made these like duffels and the backpacks, like they're amazing. I've traveled all around the world with my backpack. I've taken the duffel on a million different trips, and it's just like, they're really nice. But the problem is they're so nice that you never need another one. So the downside of that business is you essentially, like when you sell someone a backpack that they can use for the next like 10, 20 years, unless you have another color and like they have the disposable income, like they're not going to need 4 backpacks, right? Unless they're like a diehard backpack fan, they're just going to need one because you made it so good, right? So it's like you're always having to get a new customer and a new customer and a new customer, and then it starts getting expensive and it starts getting more complicated. So I have toyed around with the idea of maybe just making Ever Forward like a travel line. I almost shut down the company. Like I almost signed the documents to like dissolve the company, but I haven't signed them yet because I potentially may do the travel stuff, but I don't know. If you have one of the backpacks or if you have one of the duffel bags, hopefully maybe you can leave in the comments like, oh, Max is not lying. Like when he said like he was going to make really high quality travel gear, he did. And if there's ever been like an issue, I've always taken care of it. But I mean, they're great. They're great stuff. So yeah, who knows? How do you always have so much energy? I'm always so tired even after I've slept. To be honest, it's because I get like such a good night's rest. I know that's probably difficult for a lot of people because they aren't sleeping on like a Helix mattress like I. Wait, do you guys know about Helix? Well, this is perfect for my friend Max Tuning over here because Helix is actually the sponsor of today's video. Let me tell you about them. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses that are customized to fit your needs. Every body is different, and Helix knows that. That is why if you go on their website, they have this amazing sleep quiz. You answer a couple questions about your sleep style and your body type, and bada boom, bada bing, they help pick the perfect mattress that is just for you. Trust me, there's a million bajillion great things about Helix, but let me rattle off a few. First of all, it comes shipped to your house for free in the United States. It comes rolled up in a box, and it's super simple and easy to put together. And unlike a lot of those other mattress companies, Helix mattresses contain no fiberglass, which is actually harmful for your health. And now I know you're thinking, Max, but what if I don't like a mattress that I order on the internet? Well, don't you worry, because they have a 100-night sleep trial. You can try out the Helix mattress for over 3 months to see if you like it. And they have flexible payment plans and financing options, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I love my Helix, and I think you would too. If you're in the market for a new bed, try out Helix, and you're in luck because the New Year's sale is now live. You can head to helixsleep.com/max to get 25% off your new Helix mattress, plus you're gonna get 2 free pillows. Now, let's get back to the Q&A, dude! Or Dolly, or something. And we're back. Did you know that's actually like 2 seconds in my time because I go film the promo somewhere else? Okay, anyway. How much of the new home build do you plan to show, if any, on YouTube? I ain't going anywhere. I'm not leaving. I plan to document the entire house build. Not only is it great, it's kind of like when I bought the current house and I had so many problems that are, and then I was able to like make like 50, 60 videos over like fixing the problems and the renovation of the house. I think that in content is really enjoyable because it's like a story unfolding that isn't as repetitive as me kind of just vlogging my breakfast and my gym sessions, right? When I don't have like a clear like goal or like thing that I'm working towards. I'm just kind of like, I'm just trying to do a little bit better, right? With the house build, it's kind of like, I can follow along with this and see it build in real time. So I absolutely plan on documenting the entire thing. The current status is because we switched from like the 1.2 acre piece of land to the new 5 acre piece of land. It's actually like 4.88 acres, but we're just going to say 5. We were able to take the house and adjust it to do exactly the things we wanted to. I talked about how like before we were constrained by the lot, parameters of where we could build. And so this already, great house, I was like limited as to how cool I could make it. This is like super first world problems. But now we can really do whatever we want, and it's like super convenient timing that I sold the company. So I'm throwing the budget out the window and I'm building this house to be exactly what Taylor and I want. Everything that we could imagine, I want in this home. I want to be able to I want it to be a place to host people. Taylor's family's like relatively close by, so when they come over, she has a big family, and I love them so much, and I can't wait to have everyone over and friends and my mom and this house is going to be something spectacular, and I'm excited to show you guys the build. So we currently are adjusting the house, and we're working with the design firm. Again, we're working with the Lifestyled Co. Look them up on YouTube. Amazing find. I think Taylor found them, and love them. So the house is going to be beautiful. We hope to start building. Our original plan was like April, and then when we started redoing some things, it may have pushed it back a little bit, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't start building by June. And I would expect the house build to take, probably like 16 to 24 months, so up to 2 years. Hopefully it doesn't take over 2 years, but hopefully it takes maybe around 1.5 years. So it'll be some time before it's actually built. So I plan on making it like 1 to 2 videos a month at a minimum. I might turn the channel into a home building channel. Get ready for some house content. Even after selling the company, I told you guys that I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving YouTube. I feel like YouTube is this thing that I just can't let go of, right? It's like almost like a therapy thing. I love just like talking to you guys. Obviously, I still, second guess myself. I still get stressed out when a video doesn't do as well, even though it doesn't really matter. And my big goal for 2025 and on with YouTube is to really make the caring about the outcome of a video's performance even less than I have. I've always said that I've like cared less, but I'm trying to do even better at it. So I'm just putting out content. I'm making videos when I want to make them and how I want to make them, and I want to get creative. And yeah, so expect the entire house build to be on YouTube. I'm going, man, this is gonna be so long. That's all right. Okay, is the big toe back on the chopping block? I'm assuming you're talking about how I've had all of the ingrown toenails, right? That I've gotten surgery on. I've had like 3 or 4 ingrown toenail surgeries. I've had ingrown toenail surgeries on the same toe that had ingrown, and the doctor was like, yeah, there's like a 1% chance that it'll come back. And of course it happened to me. This is what I'm talking about. Of course it happened to me. And then I had the hammer toe where my pinky toe was bent and then it straightened. And it's interesting you asked this because it is still on the chopping block. I actually have a doctor's appointment this week, a couple days after I'm filming this, to go to a foot doctor because although my feet are better, they're still not perfect in schlag. They are, I still want to get some x-rays and I think I have another ingrown toenail, and I don't know. I keep trying all these different things. I have these like inserts in my shoes. I've been getting like wide shoes because I have these Hobbit wide feet. I'm doing everything that I can to not like constrain my toes, and it's like my feet just hate me. And if you guys can relate to having like foot and toe pain just all day, every day for like years, you can understand that it just sucks. Like, I know that people go through a lot of stuff, but it just sucks. And it's annoying. And I just want to go and I want to be like, okay, even if I have to get another crazy surgery and walk around in that dang boot and ride my little scooter around, like I'm willing to do it to once and for all. Like I might even just chop my feet off and get like robot feet if that would make just the annoyance of my feet, my toes get away. And sometimes I wonder if it's even just in my head. I'm like, what if it actually doesn't hurt anymore and I just think that it hurts, so it's hurting? Is that? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Maybe I need to go to a hypnosis or something. Your feet don't hurt. Okay, are you ever gonna build another car out like you did with your Wrangler? I would love to do that. I talked about how I'm a huge Jeep nerd, and the Jeep that I built, I mean, I could go on and on about how sick that Jeep is. I know we haven't taken it off-road yet, but it's gonna happen. I literally built that Jeep with my friends. We did all the work ourselves, except the engine swap. Except the engine swap. We did all the work ourselves. Like, I personally welded like most of all the suspension, all the, like when I cut the frame and did the coil over, like I welded all that shit, and it still isn't falling apart, so I can apparently still weld. And I built it like right when we started Sour Strips, and then Sour Strips took over my life, so I never like got to use the Jeep for its purpose. But the Jeep that I built, it really just represents like a memory for me, right? I love that Jeep Wrangler that I think it is literally, there's like, if you're really in the Jeep world, there's like a couple things that I technically could still do to it to like take it to the extreme, but it is like the most top of the line Jeep you could possibly build. And I think it's like the sickest vehicle in the entire world. And I love looking at it and I love driving it, but it represents something to me. It represents this like period of my life that, because I was so into it with my friends in like high school and college, and like every waking second I would work on Jeeps, and I could never like get the nicer parts that I wanted. I'd have to do kind of like the weird way of doing it and like get the crappy part versions. And when I finally, had a level of success, I was like, I want to build the Jeep of my dreams. And that's what this Wrangler is. And there's really nothing else I can do to it except go enjoy it. So the unfortunate thing is like, I can't keep working on the current Jeep because there's nothing to do on it because it's so cool. But yeah, man, Jeep, it brings back, oh man, I just like the memories. It brings back like my dad growing up had Jeeps, this like old CJ. We'd go and get like firewood out we had like hundreds of acres, and we'd drive the Jeep out to the woods and get firewood. And then like my mom was into Jeeps and was in Jeep clubs, and she got me into really like kind of the off-roading stuff. So the Jeep brand, and then like just this Jeep and the like what like a big lifted Jeep means to me is more than like, it does look really cool, but it's more than that to me. And that's why I'll never get rid of that Jeep that I built, that me and my friends built. That Jeep I will have till I die, and I will give it to my kids. And like it means so much to me. Like it means so much to me. And I hope that I can build something else with my children in the future. That's why at this house, we added like a shop we have a decent amount of garages, but like I added like a dedicated shop so I could actually build something. I'm gonna have like a post lift. I've actually never used a lift. If you work on cars, like I've never used a post lift to work on my Jeeps. I've done everything on a driveway, and most of it was like an incline driveway. It was terrible. I almost died like a handful of times, especially when I was like getting rid of my old ZJ. Anyway, yes, I would love to build something in the future, but I don't know what it would be. But it's probably gonna be a Jeep. What is your favorite video game of all time? Man, you know, when I was really young and the Dreamcast came out, I got Gamecast. Well, I mean, there's Game Gear and Dreamcast. I said I got Gamecast. When Dreamcast came out, if you guys are old like me, Sega Dreamcast, I remember really wanting it for my birthday, and it was like $200 or $300, and it took, I've talked about this before, but like it took like my dad and my family like pooled together like money to like get me this Dreamcast, and it meant so much to me because like it was a whole lot of money for our family. And I remember getting that Dreamcast, and it was like the best gift I've ever got. And my favorite game that I used to play in this Dreamcast was Sonic Adventures. And I played that game so much, and I loved Sonic Adventures. So actually, Taylor and I want to go watch the third Sonic the Hedgehog movie, but Sonic Adventures holds a dear place in my heart. But there's a lot of games that I love. I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil series, like all the remakes. I've played all the remakes are fantastic. Like Village was so good, and Biohazard, and I played the remake of 2, remake of 3, which was like not that great. The remake of 4 I love Resident Evil. One of my top games that I ever played that I was obsessed with as well was Final Fantasy X. I loved Final Fantasy X, loved it. And then the favorite game that I've played recently, besides the Resident Evil and all that, has to be Path of Exile. Like I grew up playing a lot of Diablo, like Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction. You know, I played 3 and 4, but like Diablo 2, if you know, you know. It's kind of like the Call of Duty, which is great too. But Diablo 2 was a huge part of my upbringing, just like the action RPGs. And when Path of Exile came out in like 2012, I've been playing it since 2012, the first one. I just love those style of games. And video games for me, as I've gotten older, I've always been like, oh, I'm wasting my time if I play video games, or if I'm not streaming and making money from it, then it's not a business and I'm wasting my time, and I'm a grown ass man. I shouldn't be playing video games. And Taylor made a really good point that she's like, you know, when you play video games, it's like one of the few times like where like my whole mind has to be in the video game, and I can just disconnect from everything. I disconnect from like work, stress, and I just focus on slaying the demons of the underworld. And it's a really good separation, like relaxation thing for me. So that's why I've continued to play, and I love playing those games. So with Path of Exile being my most recent favorite game when it came out, the new one, if you haven't played it, Path of Exile 2 probably will be the game that I will continue to play for many, many years. It's in like open beta or something right now. I paid like $30 to get it, but it's like a free game. It is amazing, and I'm loving it. So the current game I'm playing is Path of Exile 2. I'm a level 67 ice sorceress. I'm using my frozen orbs, and then I'm freezing everyone and putting my frost walls up, and I'm using my comets, and oh man, I'm dying a lot, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, we got 2 more. I know this is going pretty long. No question. I just wanted to say that I love the podcast and your journey in life. Rooting for you. Thank you, Alan. Dude, that's really, I appreciate that. You know, it's always, I get a lot of like DMs and messages of just people that are like, you know, I've been rocking with you, Max, for like 10 years, could be 5 years, 2 years. Some people have been watching since the first ever Day of Eating video. Man, do you remember the full Day of Eating era? I made over 100 Day of Eating videos. I made the same video every single Sunday for 120 weeks. And everyone loved it. I just filmed what I ate. I was just like, hey, I'm eating a sandwich today. Whoa, sandwich. But I ate something new. It was great. You had to be there. You had to be there. Thank you, man. First of all, if you've been rocking with me for this journey, it has been a wild one. And it's been a super cool, thing that I've been able to, show you guys on YouTube. I love it. And also thank you for the podcast. The podcast, the Don't Be Sour, which is I'm filming in the studio where we film. It's the thing that was the most random addition into my world that has brought me a lot of enjoyment and a lot of happiness. I proved to myself that I could go around and film interviews, and I filmed I filmed with Alex Hermosi. I filmed with Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Dane Cook. Oh my God, Dane Cook was a dream when I did that. And then I got an autograph of a photo. Taylor got it for me. And so I was able to go and interview all these people and work on my interview skills, even though I still think I'm kind of terrible. And then the podcast turned into, after the first 50 or 60 episodes, it turned into just kind of this friend group sitting thing. And then the most recent change is it's literally me, Christian, and Joe most of the time, just talking about random stuff. Joe talking out of his ass about politics, and it's just a really fun time. And it's honestly really easy to do. It's I get to hang out with my best friends for an hour and a half, editing and filming the whole thing. I've mastered that. So I edit all my YouTube videos and I edit the podcast, but I can do it so fast. It doesn't add any time to it takes me 20 minutes to edit the entire podcast. Actually, no, I've timed it. It takes 8 minutes. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the podcast. Who knows how long it'll stick around. I'm planning on putting a podcast studio in the new house, in the gym loft area. Who knows if we're going to keep doing the podcast in 2 years, but I'm planning on doing it, and I'm just really enjoying it. So if you guys have not checked out the Don't Be Sour podcast, I've done a bunch of interviews, but most recently it's just me, Christian, and Joe just talking about a bunch of random stuff, current events. I always throw my stupid questions and comments in there just to, what I've always thought of is if you know me, you know that a lot of things that I say really dumb questions or comments, but I do it on purpose to almost play into this I don't know. I do it to get engagement and comments and be oh my God, Max, you said this wrong. And it's kind of do y'all remember when I moved into the condo in right outside of Washington, D.C., and I made this YouTube video where I got this decor for my bathroom, and I got this little dragonfly little thing, okay? And I knew it was a dragonfly, but when I made the video, I literally I was yeah, I got all this stuff, and I don't know, this I got this I think it's a mosquito, right? This mosquito figurine. I don't know why, that's weird they sell mosquitoes, but I don't know, I think it looks kind of cool. And just 100 Max, that's a dragonfly. Max, dragonfly. And I always do these goofy things. I don't know if people get annoyed when I say dumb stuff wrong on purpose, but I think it's kind of my part of my humor, but it may piss people off. Man, isn't it crazy how there's just so many people that follow everything that I do just to remind them how much they dislike me? It's when you watch a show that you hate, would you keep watching this show? Just be man, I hate this. I hate this show so much, but they came out the new season, gotta watch that. Man, stupid show, hate the actors, hate the storyline, it's terrible. You wouldn't do it, but when it's a influencer, YouTuber, whatever, people do the opposite. They keep watching to just remind them how much they hate the person that they've never met. It's crazy. Okay, last one. This is a very long, hope you guys enjoy this. I used to do them once a month, but now I do them infrequent. But how is the Max that never left the 9-to-5 DC, Virginia doing? I'm going to interpret this as if I kept working my 9-to-5 job, what would my life look like right now? That Max hopefully would be thriving, but I just can't believe how much my life has changed over the past, ever since picking up this camera. And I started filming YouTube videos because of the people that I followed online: Christian Madogus, Yucky Lovato, the Hodge twins, Scott Herman, Scooby, Chris Jones, like all these people. And then I started making content because of Nick Wright, which also I watched. And I started right when I finished college in 2013. I'm old. I also repeated the 4th grade in regular school and took 5 years in college. So my journey was a little longer. But I quit, or I graduated college, and then I started filming YouTube videos, but I also started a full-time job. And for 3 years, I worked a full-time job and made like 3 to 4 videos a week. My whole life was, and it paid off, but I loved making YouTube videos, and I wasn't making any money from it. I was making barely anything, like hundreds of dollars a month, like $200 a month. But I just loved it. And I was like, this is what I love making. I love LAMP. I love making videos. And when I got fired from my job for filming YouTube videos, I have a video about this. Isn't it crazy? I got fired from my job for filming a clip of me sitting eating a gummy worm and drinking a Diet Coke against a wall that had nothing on it, and I wasn't even wearing anything, and they gave me a warning about that you can't film in the office, even though it was like a 5-second clip in the middle of a Dave eating video, which is now deleted. And then I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll never do that again, ever, ever, ever. And then like 2 weeks later, they fired me because of an even older video where I was sitting with my potato quality camera talking about how to balance the gym and drinking alcohol, which you can't find. That video is deleted as well. And I was like, grabbed my badge for my work and was spinning it. And you can't even tell what company it is. Like, it's such bad quality. It's like 480p. And they literally go, we told you to like not have the company, and because you did this, like we have to let you go. And I'm like, what? So it means they had someone look at my even older content. Like, they fired me for a video that I had already posted. Like, before that, it was crazy. But at that moment, I literally almost quit YouTube because I go, why am I screwing? I'm not making any money from this YouTube thing. I felt like such an embarrassment to like lose my first job. It was like a couple months after I started. I remember just, feeling so like lost. I was like devastated. I actually immediately started, I almost went down the route of being like a police officer. That was like what I wanted to do. But the application or the training was like already passed. And I ended up getting another job in the same industry of IT staffing and recruiting. But I actually almost decided to hang up the whole YouTube thing, to quit YouTube, because I said, why am I putting my career at jeopardy to make this content? And what I decided instead, and thankfully I did, I said, I'm just going to stop. Like, I used to drop like I'd be like, what's up, mother effer? What's up, motherfucker? Like, I'd drop F-bombs after I was a brah. What's up, brah? When you get some lift in, brah? And I would just curse all the time. And I was just like, you know what? I can make the content, maybe be a little bit more PG, and maybe companies won't be as pissed if I put myself on the internet. Now, you got people doing like, TikToks and Snapchats all day in the office, right? But Maxi Poo back then, they hated it. They wanted to keep me down. So I'm so glad that I didn't give up this YouTube thing. And then after 3 years, I quit my job and went all in on YouTube and starting District Barbell and the gym and the clothing. And then I moved to Texas and met Taylor and got Dude and started Sour Strips. And so my life has been crazy. And if you've been on this journey, I like to think that if you have truly been with me since like day one, the character arc, like the arc of when I started, of what I was producing and where I was at in my life to now, there needs to be a movie about it. The people that dislike me are like, huh, Max thinks he's so freaking cool in movie. What a pathetic loser. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna post about how much I hate him. I don't want to watch the next content. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a journey. Like, what a journey. You would have never guessed. I would have never guessed. From day of eating and deadlift bra to selling a company to Hershey and getting married and but what would old Max be doing? Career Max? Hopefully doing well, hopefully happy, probably just as annoying. And it's like, I can't even imagine what my life would be like. I wouldn't be in Texas. Who knows? I don't even know if I'd be as much into fitness. It's crazy how like one single decision that you make can impact your entire life. And that's why I love showing everything in my journey. And hopefully a lot of you guys who, it's not everyone's going to be a YouTuber, not everyone's going to do exactly what I'm doing, but it just shows that like making these single decisions can have such a crazy butterfly effect on the future and the people around you, right? And going all in on stuff and believing in yourself and putting all your effort into something like can really have a tremendous long time effect on your life. And it's crazy, man. It is banana sandwich. And I just feel so thankful for sure. Because if I never knew what my future was going to be when I graduated high school and college. I didn't get it. I applied to one college. I had like a 2.4 GPA in high school, right? 2.4. Because can you believe it? I would just run my mouth. I would get like C's in gym class because I would just run my mouth. And I applied to one college, VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. And I didn't get in. And I thought I didn't, I'm sure the people around me probably thought that, that Max guy, yeah, he's like the class clown, which I was, superlative, 8th grade. If there was ever a person that you probably wouldn't think would have their life change so much, it might have been me, because I didn't think that. I didn't believe in myself early on, and it's something that I'm still like working on. Like I know I've done a lot of cool things, but I still doubt myself a lot, and I never want to act like I'm some guru guy, right? I'm just a dude doing stuff and continue to do stuff. And, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but if I'm your cup of tea, if I'm your magahita, then I appreciate you sticking around with me. And I hope you enjoyed this casual video. We're going to get back to some sick vlogs real soon. New Jeep. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please hit that thumbs up button. Just tap it in. We got to get back on our golf too. It's too damn cold. Yeah, hit thumbs up button. Helps grow the channel. Leave a comment down below. If you made it to the end of this video, tell me like where you were at, like what age and what you were doing in life when you stumbled across my video. Maybe even like how you found me. Pretty much everyone found me through Christian. But like where were you at in life? Like how old were you when you found my channel? Assuming if you're still watching, you make the comment, but like what were you doing? And then what's great about that is you can look at where you were at in your life and you can look where I was at in my life. And if anyone is ever like feeling like they haven't accomplished a lot, just be like, hey, like, what have you done in that amount of time? If you've been watching me for 5 years, but you've been doing the same thing, 5 years ago, it's time to make some changes. Or maybe you're crushing it and you're happy, and I'm happy for you. But yeah, leave some comments. What age were you? What were you doing in life when you found my channel? And I can't wait to read them all. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Eat more sour strips and ever forward. Peace. Woof.